Hi, Alice Brown, and Lady V is actually standing behind the scenes today because we are joined with Mr. Brown today.
Hello.
And we are going to be doing a little bit of an interview on what it's like to live full-time with two authors. As many of you know, we're a mother-daughter duo between Lady V and I, and we're one of the few out there. So we've got a kind of a unique situation going in our household, and we thought we'd get his perspective on things. So Lady V, as I said, is standing behind the scenes. She's going to be asking the questions and doing the interview, and we'll go from there.
So, what is it like living with two authors and all of our quirky habits?
It's fun. It can be tedious at times. When they start to write, I usually go outside so that I'm not disturbing them. If there's something that they need, I'll go and get it for them. Or if they even ask me a question about certain things, like when they were doing the Dragonos books, they asked me about dragons and abilities of dragons. And because I used to play D&D, I had quite a few ideas on that.
Yeah, well, there's the character, or the creature, the Tontosaurus, was Mr. Brown's idea completely, that it was introduced in, is it book 1 or 2 that we introduced? I know it's in book 3 coming up big time.
I think it was in book 2 that you first introduced it.
Okay,
because
right. I know it goes into some detail on book 3 that we really go into detail on that. So
being in the thick of trying to finish out the ending of Ivor Mantis, we're starting to get our storylines crossed between 1 and 2.
Well, it's difficult because we're in the middle of show season also, and that throws a whole different spin on things.
Yeah, well, you're probably right. It is a cross between books 1 and 2, but 1 and 3 actually picks up right at the end of book 2.
Right, where one ended. Where one ended, actually.
Where book 1 ended. So, I mean, I enjoy it. If we go out to eat somewheres and they start talking books, I just sit there. If they need a drink refill, I'll go and get them just to get out away from it.
That was the next question. You have been with us numerous times, particularly when Sapphire was born in Zasby's for lunch, and we ended up supposedly supposed to have a quick lunch that ended up being a 2-hour lunch sitting in Zasby's. Tell us about what you experienced through that.
That was unique. It was fun watching Sapphire be born, basically. It was, you got to see the thought process that they went through, then the description of this shifter that changes into a dragon. But then it was also hilarious as to how you decided that you wanted the dragons to have their own personality, and watching that personality grow in that 2-hour lunch was amazing. I had a blast just watching it. So it is quite fun to be around these two, listening to them story plot. But like I said, most of the time I stay out of their way. I don't get involved in that unless they ask for my help.
Now, you do play a good role in being our logistics manager, as we like to call you.
Yes.
And you help out in a very unique way. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, as a logistics manager, I'm not the one involved in setting up the shows that you go to. However, I am the one that gets the list of everything that you need to be packed. And I strategically pack that into the car. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if the clothes are going to fit.
Especially if it's an overnight trip. That one's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Well, you also play a major role in the mug making.
Oh, yes. In the mugs, I turn around. I do you'll come up with the pictures that you want. I set the pictures so that they'll come up on the paper, where I can get two mugs, the right size, so I can get 2 mugs per sheet, and then I make those. I cut them, you help me in taping them, but then I do all the process of heating that photo onto the mug. Yeah. And I mean, this is a heat process, so it's not a sticker. It doesn't come off. You can't scratch it off. I mean, if I wanted to scratch it off, I think I'd have to probably take a knife and to
even
scratch
then, I don't
the
know,
mug.
because it goes in, it penetrates into the mug.
Yeah, it penetrates the mug, because the mug's
you
unique.
also play a major role in, like making our signs and things like that, because your tech background helps me tremendously on that aspect.
Well, in that aspect, I turn around. I'll turn around and make the size signs that you need.
Yeah, I usually come up with the design, but I don't know how to get it to the size that we need.
I shrink it down so that it'll fit on whatever display it is. I also turn around and make the bookmarks for you.
Yep.
I take the covers and put the bookmarks on. So that is something that I actually love doing for you all. And
you're there in the background also when we go to publish. Lady V does a lot of our
it's the editing,
processing and formatting. That's the word I was trying to think of. But you're also there in the background that if she runs into problems, you're kind of the backup that we use.
Yeah, she and I sat down with the instructions that came from the 2 websites that you use, and we made our own cheat sheet out of their instructions. And of course we sat there so that we did the process for actually I think we did it for the first 2 vampire books. And now, unless she is preoccupied and can't do it, she usually does it, but I will help her in doing one or the other. Usually I do the actual book, the paperback
book, right?
And she
does
the
ebooks. Mr. Brown also is helping with our merchandise section, which we are getting ready to expand the first of next year. And you want to tell us about that?
Well, I wanted to try to come up with something that I could be more involved in to help them. And I suggested doing some wood burning of dragons, at least for right now, for the dragon books. So I actually did one and then showed it to them after it was finished. It's stained and varnished. And you tell me what you think.
I think it turned out beautiful. We're getting ready to show you.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
It took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get it all burned the way I wanted it. And then you got to add in about 2 hours to stain and 2 hours to varnish. And of course it's not completely done yet. It's a little bit rough if you run your hand across it, and what I want to do is end up smoothing that out. So it's going to take a little bit more work on the varnish.
Yeah, but for the first one, I think this turned out beautiful. So you guys just got a sneak peek of the new merchandise that'll be coming in next year. Hint,
Lucky
hint.
ducks.
I plan on doing several different styles for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we've talked about that. So, yeah, keep an eye out on that. That'll be probably, I would say, by spring of next year, we'll be putting those up
on the website,
and available. So, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, other than I'm probably one of a few males that enjoys reading paranormal fantasy romance books, and I've got to tell you, these 2 ladies really do wonderful at coming up with a storyline. And not only the storyline, they build their own world, and they are working at integrating all their books really into one world. And I look forward to reading every book that they put out. Maybe I'm a little bit prejudiced, but I actually do like the stories. And just for anybody who happens to play D&D, if you've ever been a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master, you could take one of these stories and literally make a game out of it if you read the story and then use the characters and creatures that are in it. So that's a thought process for you all out there.
We appreciate any and all support you give us. We really do.
It has been my pleasure helping you, and I look forward to continuing it for many, many years.
Cool. All right, so that wraps things up for today.
Do remember that all of our links are down below, and we rely on you, our fans, to help get us through and support.
Yes, definitely. So until next time, have a great day.